see, then my legs hit here. But if it's low the way it needs to be, because you're tall, your legs hit anyway, but then if you're tall,
I'm going to call the City Council meeting to order. Monday, February the 15th, 2007, right at 7 o'clock p.m. We have the invocation this evening by the Reverend Martha Rowley from the First United Methodist Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by the Police Explorers and Councilman Hodge. Would you all please stand?
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening with grateful hearts that we live in the land of the free, and we can gather on a night such as this and govern ourselves. We ask for your blessings upon us this evening, that all of our decisions are guided by you, that we seek your will in whatever we say and that we do, and that everything that we do is pleasing to you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Please join me as we honor our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. One. Right, face. Upward.
You may be seated. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Warren?
Yes, here.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Here.
Councilwoman Bell? Here. Councilwoman Garner? Here. Councilman Hodge?
Here.
Councilman Porter?
Here.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Councilwoman Wallman won't be here this evening. She had illness. She have illness in her family, so she won't be able to make it. Additions, deletions, deferrals.
Yes, Mayor. Item 8A will be deferred till next meeting.
Thank you, sir.
There's an addition on this one sheet. What about this? There's an addition on the pink sheet.
Right, we're going by this agenda tonight, and there was an addition from the previous agenda. This is the one we're going.
Okay. All right, special presentation. We have the Adrian Dominican School of Education presentation. Barry University is a representative from Barry University here. Welcome, come aboard. Yes.
Hello, I'm Sharon Colsty from the Adrian Dominican School of Education, representing Barry University. And I'd like to thank Mayor Oscar Warren, City Manager Kurt Ivey, and City Attorney Mr. Richard Weiss, and all the esteemed council of the Homestead City Council. Thank you for letting me share my views today and those of Barry University. You're letting me speak to something that's very important to me, and that is getting a good education, a solid education, and getting it where you belong at Barry University. It's more than just a catchphrase, although it is a pretty catchy phrase, but it really stands to say that we are very much of a committed campus. We're very much, thank you, a committed campus where the welfare of our students is our most precious commodity. At Barry University, everyone belongs and fits in. And it's part of our school's mission to provide a very caring environment from which to learn. Our classes are small. You get individualized attention, and throughout your stay at Barry, and even beyond your stay at Barry. Just recently, I was in contact with one of our graduates, and we were discussing strategies and problems that she was having with one of her classes. And so our reach really goes even further than just being a student. Once you're a Barry student, you're a Barry student always. We have a distinguished faculty, which means a first class, or translates into a first class education and a first class experience at a very distinguished school. I'd like to speak here tonight about one of Barry's professional schools, and that is the Adrian Dominican School of Education, where I am proud to work and be a part of their faculty. Again, we have very small classes taught by knowledgeable professors who combine their formal knowledge with classroom expertise, as many are former teachers and administrators from Dade County. How many of you heard of the expression that experience is the best teacher? Well, that's something that we believe in strongly at Barry University. And this is what we do, and it's very unique to our program. We have field experience, which occurs in every class that is taught at Barry. And what that is that we teach something in our class. The student gets the gift of the pedagogy, the ideas, the theory behind it, and then they're out to set it into practice. We go out to Dade County publics and private schools, and we practice what is taught in the classroom. For example, if we are learning to add two-digit numbers, then we go out and we practice doing that in the classroom. And we do that to assure your students that they're getting the finest in education. We go over strategies. We know how to teach children. And in fact, this uniqueness is one of Barry's strengths, because principals realize how much expertise you have to have after all of the experiences that you have in the classroom. By the time that our students are ready for their fourth semester classes, they are well grounded into what students need to learn. Most of our Homestead students will typically spend 2 years at Miami-Dade, and they will complete and get their AA degree. After that, they can transfer those credits to Barry University, where they will graduate with a Bachelor of Science in Education. And they get even more than that. They will get an individual endorsement, what we call an ESOL endorsement, but they have gotten special expertise to help students whose home language is not English. And so after graduating from Barry, not only will they have their degree, but they will have this special certification to help them teach all children in Dade County public and private schools. That makes us unique. The experiences that our students get. Can you imagine for 4 semesters on every class that they have to go out to schools and to practice what they are learning? Because of that, they feel relaxed, they know the strategies, they understand what to do, and principals are always eager to hire people with so much experience. And that does set our university apart. Another unique feature of our program is that we use a cohort model. And a cohort model means that when students register for our programs, they don't just come in and register for single classes. You go in, you register, and then the people that you are registered with all function as a family, and because they are the people that attend the classes. So there might be a group of people that register at the same time. They will go class to class with each other, building a solid support for each student. Let's just say you have to be absent or you can't make it to class one day. You know the people in your cohort, you can get notes, You can depend on them. They can help you. And in a trying, stressful situation, as any school can be, because you have a lot of responsibility, you want to teach children in the best way possible, it's gratifying to know that there are other people there supporting you. So this cohort model means that there's very little, if any, jockeying for classes. Let's say you need Introduction to Education. Well, that's not a problem at Barry because we know all the classes that you need and we give them to you every semester. So the cohort model seems to work very well. I did not bring a PowerPoint or a fancy production today. I brought my students, and I hope that you'll get a chance to introduce them later. They're all Homestead residents who are working in Avocado Elementary, Campbell Drive Elementary, Naranja Elementary, just to name a few. And we're very proud of the work that they have done. 3 of the 4 students that are here today are near to completion of their degree, so they can speak about Barry University even better than I can because they're actually experiencing it. And I have one first semester student who is just beginning his career at Barry. But I believe that each person, each one of our students, are very happy with the program that we set out. Now in Homestead residents can come to my office, which is housed in the Miami-Dade College. It's Building A, room 227, so that they can get advice, and I will speak to any and all students that come my way. From there, we used to have a campus in the Homestead city proper, but because not that many people have realized that we are at Miami-Dade, we are at presence in the Homestead community. We know that we have my offices there. And this is really basically why I'm here today, to sort of spread the word, to let people know that Barry University is a very viable, important part of Homestead City. And to that, we would like to regain our campus and bring it back to Homestead. So I'm hoping that this presentation will help to sort of drum up business for us. Right now, Homestead students will have to go about 15 minutes down the road to Kendall and take advantage of our classes there. Our Kendall office is at 8990 Southwest 97th Avenue. To that, we are also having a meeting on March the 7th, it's a Wednesday night at 7 p.m., where we'll have financial aid and we'll have someone from admissions talking to Homestead students or any students that is interested in our program. Let me tell you a little bit about our program itself. We have 2 types of programs, one that occurs during the daytime and one that occurs in the evening. If you are a working person, if you are a working family member, and you have other duties during the day, you can go to school in the evening. Those classes take place from 5:30 till almost 9:30 at night. The other way is going during the day, and that starts from 8:30 till 12:30. So we have 2 options at Barry, depending on where what fits best for your schedule. And I think that that's probably one of the nicest things that our students have said, is that we have a program that really does fit in with a family life and allows you to have a life, but it also allows you to study and to reach your dreams. David Viscott, who is a psychologist, once said that if you have the courage to begin, then you have the courage to succeed. And at Barry University, we help you to find these dreams and achieve those goals, especially that of being a teacher. There is a teacher shortage, and that will probably continue to 2017. So we are looking for teachers. We want more teachers to come into the profession. Everyone, any profession has had a teacher behind him or her to really fulfill their own goals as well. So teaching is a noble profession. It's a helping profession. It is a profession that creates jobs for all of the professions. So we're really looking for teachers. We would love to have Homestead residents come and join us at Barry. And I think I would like you to hear from some of my students, if that's all right.
They in the audience?
Yes, they are.
Come up, I give you a minute each. We got to move on.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, Board. My name is Florine Johnson Edwards. When I decided to pursue my career in teaching, Barry University was my choice of the other colleges that I did the information on. Barry University was my choice. When I first went and called, I got in contact with Ms. Kolsky, and she was there to walk me hand in hand through the process, and I mean hand in hand. She was there. As far as registration, we have our own separate registration time where we're not crowded in with the others. That's special caring for us. She's there with the classes to make sure that you are settled in your classes, that you have your books, any scholarship information, she's ready to give it to you. I chose Barry also because of the location and the hours. I have children, I have one in elementary, and Barry is within miles of me going there, and it's a time where it's appropriate because my husband will be home with the elementary school student. And just like the saying says, Barry is where I belong. So I encourage everyone that would like a teaching career, choose Barry. Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer?
Good evening, Council. Let me introduce myself. My name is Jennifer Smith, and I'm currently in my student teaching phase at Barry University, and I'm about to graduate. I'm here locally doing my internship at Campbell Drive Elementary, and I've been a resident of Homestead my whole life, and so has my mother and my grandparents. Everything Ms. Kolsky has said about Barry University is true. These two young ladies I met 2 years ago when I signed up at Barry University, and we've stuck together in the cohort, like she said. So it's been a lot easier to go through all the new things that you go through trying to become a teacher with, friends. They're like family now. And the professors are wonderful. I actually, I was prepared when I started internship. So, thank you.
Sorry. Good evening. I chose Barry because first we had a great advisor. She advised me what to do. It's convenient for my hours. I'm also a mom, full-time student, and I'm a full-time employee at Baptist. And this, speaking, I'm nervous. And this, the Barry program is very convenient for me because it allows me not only to be a student, to work, but also it allows me to have time with my son. And it's a good program to join. And you have a great advisor. So if you get lost, she'll help you through the way and she'll guide you step by step. And like she said, it's very family oriented. You'll stay with the same students. You feel very welcomed, and it flies. It flies. You'll always feel welcome at Barry. Thank you.
And next will be a first semester student.
Good evening, Council. It's a great privilege for me to be a part of the Barry student body. I've joined Barry this January, transferring out of another university that I found was not really meeting my needs. And when I went to Barry, I found the advisement to be very cordial, very upfront, and I was impressed with the personnel. I would like to see, as a community leader, that Barry would put a campus down in Homestead as we continue to grow as a city. Thank you.
Well, that's really what I hope will happen, that more people will know that we are down here at Barry University. Please come and see me. One of our mission statements is to become a very caring university, to give education the finest that we can give you in a very caring environment. And I think that sort of comes through in our students, that they feel accepted, they feel comfortable, they can grow. And that's how all students are. And if you come to Barry, it will definitely be where you belong. So thank you very much. Although I do want to say that I have a little something from our Dean, Dean Terry Piper, and if you permit me, I'll just hand them out to you.
Sure.
Thank you very much, and thank you a lot. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Well, we certainly want to thank you all for coming, and one thing I wanted to do was to just let the community know that Barry University is here and is offering some very quality programs for the residents of the city of Homestead. So I hope that young folks in the community will certainly take advantage of it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you.
Thank you. I'm afraid that we're going to have to leave early tomorrow. My teaching papers are there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
5B is the anti-graffiti program certificate presentation. Councilman Porter.
Is anyone here from Home Hardware? Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, City Council, Mr. City Manager, I'm Captain Tom Foglia. Of course, we have Chief Al Roll. We have Major Kennedy back there, Officer Maguido. Back in December, under the direction of the Chief and Major Villaranga, we had noticed a lot of graffiti throughout the town, so we set up a detail, which we actually conducted on the 9th of December. We actually, during that detail, we utilized 12 detectives, 3 supervisors, 6 explorers volunteered their time, 2 civilians, and a code enforcement officer. We had to find the locations, get hold of the business owners, and set it up. But we couldn't have done it without the cooperation of our local businesses. And we had 3 businesses really step up. They donated all the paint and supplies for this, which would have cost the city quite a bit of money. So fortunately, it didn't cost us any money. And the 3 contributors were obviously Dennis Berry from Berry's Paint, Christy Williams, the owner of Borgett Painting, and also Home Hardware. So we just wanted to recognize these 3 businesses for the help they gave our police department and really the citizens and business owners of Homestead. Yes. So.
Well, the Explorers do the painting, right?
Well, actually, a lot of the officers did, and the Explorers. The Explorers, as you know, you see them here. You see them doing volunteer work all over the city. And I'll tell you what, these kids, young women and young men, do an awful lot for this city on their own time. And many of them do become police officers or continue on in college, and they're just great kids. So it's the help of them and the businesses was terrific.
On behalf of the mayor and the council, I would like to give each of you that are here tonight this certificate of appreciation. And like the captain said, it doesn't have to be a particular color, but it certainly needs to cover up the graffiti. And these guys, I know Dennis has done this before. I know in previous times we've had this initiative, and it is with great appreciation that we, in recognition of your contribution and support to the anti-graffiti program and the Homestead Police Department, the City of Homestead Police Department, Saturday, December 9th, 2006. Dennis, this is, I'm sorry. Thank you. Dennis would like to say something?
This is greatly appreciated. I didn't even know why I was here. But this is a great thing, and I don't mind doing it. I really enjoy it. I mean, it's just paint that we've messed up and can't do anything with anyway. So anytime that the city needs anything like that, we don't mind stepping in and helping out.
I'd just like to say thank you for recognizing that we helped out, and anything that we can do to help the community better for our children and the future of the community, we're all willing to do. Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the Office of the Month for November 2006, Officer George Reyes. Councilman Porter.
George Reyes is our Officer of the Month for November 2006. And to give you a little background on George, he was a police explorer for 5 years. After graduating high school, he was an advisor, which is really an adult that helps out in the Explorer program. Perfect example of what happens with the Explorer program. He's been on the department for about a year and a half. He's without a doubt one of our younger officers. And he does a great job, and as you can see, he's receiving an Officer of the Month. He also, besides going to court, working night shift, he attends Miami-Dade Community College and will be graduating shortly and getting his associate's degree. So I think that's a fine example. Quickly, I'll just tell you a few things that he did. He was nominated by his sergeant on his shift, Sergeant Sheila Johnson. For the month, he had a lot of self-initiated cases. He did numerous traffic stops. He handled 157 calls for service, wrote 64 citations. He made 12 arrests, and 6 of those were felonies, and that's a very good statistic for a month, even for a senior officer. He just does a great job. And really, the supervisor wrote him up and stated, along with his busy court schedule, Officer Reyes continues his education by attending Miami-Dade Community College. You can see what happens with the Explorer program and what these young men and women become, and I think we're proud to have him as our Officer of the Month.
Let me just say a couple things about the Explorers first, because we always talk about the future leaders. You know, you're looking at the future leaders. Well, you're looking at the future leader, because these young men and women that are sitting here right now were working with us for Rotary auction the other night, Friday night, Thursday night. They were helping us out with another function that we had going on at Homestead Miami Speedway. Those are just 2 that I know of, much less what the chief and the captains and the majors have them doing on a day-to-day basis. So this is a perfect example of why the Explorer program is in place. He walks out of the Explorer program straight into a uniform and becomes Officer of the Month. That's pretty incredible, and we congratulate you for that. And the program that you guys have, Chief, that's a fabulous program, and I don't know how we would do without it. You were a chief, right?
Deputy Chief.
Deputy Chief. And I still see him over at the Explorer building, so that's really amazing. But I wanted to give you a couple things. First, let me tell you what the business community would like to give you for your award. Awards Inc. is responsible for the plaque that you're going to receive. The City Attorney's Office is a $100 check. First National Bank of South Florida is a $50 savings bond. Homestead Miami Speedway is a $100 check. Ferguson's Jewelry is a $75 gift certificate. Ruby Tuesdays is a $25 gift certificate. Global Technology Partners Incorporated is a $50 check. Logos on Old Dixie Highway is a $50 gift certificate. Dale Blake at Blake Chevrolet is a $300 value detail of your car. Captain Carlos is a $20 value, which is a free car wash. And Mita Jensen is 2 memberships of the Homestead Community Concerts. And the plaque reads, you want to get that? Presented to Officer George Reyes for being selected Officer of the Month for November 2006. And Officer Reyes is now in the running for the Officer of the Year, which we want to be one of our signature programs in the police department, so we can really reward the guys that do it on a day-to-day basis, but really want to take this to the next level for the one that is offered by his superiors as being the Officer of the Year. Congratulations, sir.
Thanks, sir. It's very special award I'm receiving here today. like I say, it was a very good month for the month of November. First of all, I'd like to thank my family, God, and the City of Homestead for giving me the opportunity to work here. I'd like to thank the City Council, City Manager Ivy, Chief Rowe, Major Kenny, Major Villalon, Captain Foglia for their support. I'd like to especially thank Tech Deegan for her involvement in my career and once as an explorer. I'd like to thank the midnight shift supervisors for their strong leadership support, Lieutenant Kent, Sergeant Johnson, Sergeant Pritchett, and I'd like to especially take time to thank the fellow officers that work with me on the midnight shift. Without them, I wouldn't be here. I'd just like to say thank you and just continue to work hard.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. Chief, you and the majors, you guys have a first-class job. These guys speak very eloquent. I mean, it's...
We learned it from them.
You think everybody knew?
Did you notice he got all of his command staff in on that? Everyone above him, he got them all.
We need an award for the city councils. I can get some of those awards, Mr. Vice Mayor. You gonna make that happen? Politician of the month.
It can't be more than $25.
That's right.
A piece each.
All right, we have the Government Finance Office Association presentation of the 2005 Award for Excellence in Financial Reporting to the City of Homestead. Councilwoman Bell.
Excuse me.
It's always a pleasure when these city departments that you represent make you look good. And this is that very case. And so I'm very proud to report that this is the 4th consecutive year that our city has achieved the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. This award is presented by the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada to government units whose comprehensive annual financial reports achieve the highest standards in government accounting and financial reporting. The certificate program has been in existence for over 60 years and has gained widespread recognition as the premier indicator of excellence in governmental accounting and financial reporting. This is a tremendous achievement and reflects the professionalism and dedication of our finance department staff. And once again, look at this beautiful, beautiful plaque, Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting, presented to the City of Homestead, Florida, for its comprehensive annual financial report for the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2005. Why don't we have all the members from the finance department who are here come on up tonight? Again, you guys make us look good, and we thank you very, very much. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. Mayor, council member, city manager, I'm pleased to accept this award on behalf of the City of Homestead. But as this is the award for September 30th, 2005, all the credit really belongs to the former finance director, Elena Castanera-Perez, the former assistant finance director, Charles Dabney, and the entire finance department. But I want you to know that you can rest assured that myself and my assistant finance director, Christy Vizcaino, are currently working diligently along with the rest of the finance department to prepare the 2006 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report that will be worthy of our 5th consecutive award. Thank you.
Not only are they brilliant, they're humble as well. Thank you.
We now have these. Thank you, Councilwoman Bell. We now have the Seminole Theater update. Mr. Frank May.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Frank May. I'm president of the Seminole Theater Group. Tonight I am delivering a report on the recent activities of the Seminole Theater. The Seminole Theater organization was recently realigned to establish a virtual organization composed of committed, well-informed, and experienced volunteers. Our volunteer executive director and board members are not compensated so that every dollar of the $40,000 management fee committed to the project from the City of Homestead is directed to the project. As president of the board, I have solicited and engaged the services of numerous qualified top professionals to assist the board in the management of this complex project. This policy is now paying dividends in the form of transparent financial management, effective marketing, creative strategic planning, accurate cost estimation, and effective construction management. Our routine financial bookkeeping is performed by Jim Pierce, CPA, as well as our monthly financial statements and annual IRS tax returns. Mr. Pierce presents the Treasurer's report to the Board of Directors on a monthly basis to inform the entire board of the organization's monthly financial position. The theater's budget is balanced and its operations healthy. The Seminole Theater's annual operating budget for 2007 is $233,000. The Seminole Theater's in addition to the city's contribution, the theater has recently received 2 5-year private donations in the total amount of $175,000 to assist us in our annual operating expenses. I expect additional private contributions of this kind once major construction begins in June of this year. Recently, the theater received $500,000 in the form of a community-based organization grant from Miami-Dade County through the efforts of Miami-Dade Commissioner Katie Sorensen and Homestead Councilwoman Judy Waldman. This grant will be immediately utilized for the completion of the north and west expansions and the orchestra pit. In addition, a smaller grant in the amount of $23,344 was secured for the purpose of completing the exterior of the north expansion. I am in the process of preparing additional grants for the theater with the assistance and expertise of Angie Brewer and Associates, a professional grant writing firm. Grant applications will be submitted to the state of Florida and the federal government for the restoration of the theater's interior this year. Finally, the theater's board of directors changed the theater's fiscal year to October from July to conform directly to the City of Homestead's fiscal year. Tech International, a strategic planning consultant, was engaged to assist the board in the development of a strategic plan to identify the board's organizational strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. As a result of several group meetings led by our consultant, a detailed strategic plan was completed, and further, a vision for the theater was drafted as follows. Our vision is to effectively and efficiently renovate and operate the Seminole Theater to provide quality cultural experiences for South Dade, Upper Keys area families, and an economic catalyst for downtown development. Our strategic plan is the general blueprint for our activities. The board engaged the Hoser Group, a professional marketing consultant, to assist us in our marketing efforts. The theater's new logo and marketing event materials were professionally prepared and have given the theater new visibility and sophistication in the marketplace. The theater's new website, www.seminoletheater.com, was designed by our consultant and now has the capability to accept donations for chairs and books directly from the public. Further, our consultant is in the process of developing fundraising materials for both the public and private sectors to assist us in the financing of the project from the federal and state governments as well as private enterprise. To date, more than $2.3 million of public and private investment has been expended on the theater from the City of Homestead, the State of Florida, and Miami-Dade County. In addition, substantial private donations have been given to the theater as well. Substantial progress has been made to date in the theater's restoration. The main stage roof, the substantial north support building with outdoor terrace, the exterior main stage facade, part of the south building facade, installation of the 2-story marquee, construction of the lobby infrastructure and lobby area including impact-resistant doors and windows, and demolition of the south building interior have been completed. In addition, the theater's architect, theater consultants, and engineers engaged to perform marketing and business plans, design development, schematics, and construction documents for the entire project, completed their work. All architectural plans and construction documents have been completed and updated for the project. It is instructive to note that 2 feasibility studies were performed which indicated that the project was feasible and essentially would break even or create a small surplus from the first year's operation. For more than a decade, pigeons have been roosting in the theater, creating a health issue. Recently, the pigeons were removed and the building was secured against their entry. a building cleanup will commence prior to new construction. To determine the exact cost of the theater for fundraising and financing purposes, the board engaged the services of a professional construction cost estimator. After several site visits, discussions with our architect, and extensive review of blueprints, the consultant estimated that the project would require $4.9 million more to complete. The next phase of the project is the completion of the exterior of the north expansion, the construction of the fly tower, and the excavation and construction of the orchestra pit. This phase will weather in the main stage theater and will complete the theater's exterior. This phase is fully funded by the Miami-Dade County grants that we have received. We are now in the process of soliciting bids for this phase and anticipate that construction will begin in May or June of this year. In addition, we are assembling a team of well-known construction consultants and experts to guide us for the remainder of the renovation. The City of Homestead is our partner in this public venture. An RFP for business and marketing plans will be publicized in the League of Historic American Theater newsletter in March. A draft management agreement has been negotiated as the basis for the city's contribution of $100,000 per year over 16 years. It is intended that these funds be capitalized in the form of a construction loan and the approximate amount of $1 million. In summary, we are immediately commencing construction on the next major phase of the renovation, which will complete the exterior of the theater. The finances of the theater are strong and well managed. More than $2.3 million has been expended on the project to date. The new management agreement has been drafted. We are raising substantial money from both private and public sources to complete the project. We have engaged the services of recognized consultants to assist us in specific areas. In closing, I want to thank Mayor Warren, Councilwoman Judy Waldman, and the City Council for your strong support of the theater. I also want to thank Rick Stotts, Assistant City Manager, for his guidance and support. Mr. Mayor and members of the Council, I thank you for the opportunity to present this report.
Thank you, Frank, very much.
Thank you.
I look forward to the day that it is complete.
Very soon.
Very, very soon. Thank you, Frank. I'd like to read that SWOT analysis too, Frank. You can get me a copy?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Homestead Main Street update, Yvonne Knowles.
Good evening, Mayor Warren, council members, Mr. Ivey. This is a report on Main Street these last 3 weeks. The two literary events occurred this past month in downtown Homestead. The opening of Spellbound Books included Meet the Author event showcasing Mr. Leon Hesser and his biography of Dr. Norman Borlaug, the man who fed millions. And I know many members of our council were there, and we greatly appreciate your attendance. Thank you so much for that support. Also, Main Street collaborated with the Historic Town Hall Museum and the Pioneer Museum in hosting the first of our winter lecture series, An Evening with Jesse Robinson Jr. We invite you to come to our next event, which is scheduled for February the 15th at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall Museum, entitled Homestead 1904 to 1920. This will be a slideshow presentation presented by Mr. Larry Wiggins, historian and great local storyteller, who will present colorful tales of Homestead's early pioneers. He has a wonderful slideshow to see and some very interesting slides of early Homestead. And now to Mardi Gras. Homestead Main Street is planning to extend our fundraising efforts during our Mardi Gras in Chrome. Continuing as a benefit for Habitat for Humanity's Musicians Village, which you heard about at our last session in January in New Orleans, the organization will also be accepting monetary donations for victims of the tornadoes which struck Central Florida on February the 2nd. We are in touch with the Red Cross of Lake and Sumter counties located in Leesburg. I have also been in touch with the Leesburg Main Street organization. They greatly appreciate our support, and all members of the Homestead community who would like to contribute to this devastated region will have an opportunity at our February 17th event. We hope that many members of of Homestead's community will come out and support our efforts. A kickoff cocktail reception will be held on Friday evening, February the 16th, that will benefit the Seminole Theater Restoration. as well as Habitat for Humanity. Homestead Main Street strongly believes in all nonprofits working together downtown, and we went together with the Seminole Theater, told them about our Mardi Gras event, and asked them if they would like to participate in some way, and they graciously accepted the kickoff event for the Mardi Gras, and we're very happy to have their involvement. Thanks to some very generous donations from both residents and visitors to Homestead, Main Street is able to provide our community with a first-class Mardi Gras. The brochures you'll see around here identify two very generous donators. One is Mr. Charlie Bashir, who doesn't even live in Homestead. He lives in Lakes by the Bay, but so greatly appreciates the Creole Cafe in downtown Chrome Avenue and what we're trying to do with Main Street that he wrote a very big check to underwrite the Mardi Gras. We also have another very supportive member of Main Street who gave us a big check to provide further talent. And thank you, Global Technologies. Saturday is the big day, February the 17th. That's when the festivities begin at 6 p.m. with music from the Mystic Blue Band, followed by an authentic Mardi Gras parade starting at 7 p.m. And our headliner act, Chewy Thunderfoot Black and his Blue Horizon Band, straight from New Orleans, coming on stage at 9 p.m. Chewy and I spoke on the phone yesterday, and he's loaded his band. He had to gather his band from 7 different points of the compass, and didn't know there were 7 points, but there were, according to him, and bring his 7-piece band in the van to Homestead. My husband got on the phone with him and said he'll send him a trip ticket so he won't miss Homestead on his drive in the south, because he's never been to Florida, much less Homestead. But God willing, he'll be here with his band, and he'll be a wonderful entertainment. There will be Creole cuisine available to purchase, a crawfish boil, Billy Spillers, people know Billy Spillers and his wonderful crawfish boil. He's bringing his talents to our event. A seafood gumbo, red beans and rice, and a lot more. Chrome Avenue will be closed until midnight, so please plan on coming down and enjoying the fun. There will be 2 stages and live music playing throughout the evening. I would like to send a special thank you to Sergeant Jim Orbaugh and the City of Homestead Police for helping us to organize the parade and the street festival. So look forward to seeing all of you on February the 17th on Chrome Avenue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you very much. The Mardi Gras is coming to Homestead. Isn't that wonderful? Next, we have the consent agenda. Is there a motion for approval? I'll move it. Moved by Councilwoman Bell. Is there a second?
Second, Mayor. Second, Mayor.
Second by Mr. Porter. Any question on the consent agenda? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing, ordinance, land use items. Mr. Weiss.
Please be advised that the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment upon any of these items, please indicate the item number you'd like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff have made their presentations on each item. All testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to either be cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the council to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. The full agenda packet on each item is here entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization. Further details of quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. In accordance with Section 2591, any lobbyist must register before addressing the council on any of the following items. This time, council members must disclose in the ex parte communications concerning any items on the agenda. This time, the clerk will swear any persons who wish to testify on any quasi-judicial item.
Please stand and raise your right hand. I state your name. Hereby swear or affirm that the information I present shall be the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you.
With that, this New Orleans-educated lawyer will turn this over to another New Orleans-educated lawyer to handle the quasi-judicial procedure.
You bragging about that?
I like it.
Item 7A under the quasi-judicial agenda is a second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting the request of Michelle Wajanovich for a rezoning from R1 one-family district to B1A professional business restricted district for property located at 90 Northwest 15th Street, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. This is second reading.
I'll move it.
I'll second
Moved by the Vice Mayor, second by Ms. Bell. Any question on this item? Any question, initial comments from council? If not, I'll open a public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Garner? Yes. Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell? Yes. Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 7B is the first reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting the request of George Wright for a rezoning from B1 Restricted Retail Commercial District to B3 Liberal Business District for property located at 5 Northeast 3rd Road, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. This is first reading.
I'll move it.
Moved by Councilwoman Bell. Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
Second by Councilman Porter. Any initial comments from council on this issue?
Mayor, this is for a lawn shop, correct?
That's my understanding, yes. I'll open the public hearing.
B3, it might sound a little more industrial or more strict of a use, but it's a lawn shop, it's not...
Been approved by the planning and zoning, huh?
Okay.
Yes?
I was just going to say that although the Planning and Zoning Department does have some idea what's going to go on here, when you're approving a rezoning, you have to look at what's the most and the highest potential use in that particular zoning district. However, the applicant has proffered a set of restrictive covenants that does eliminate the more intense B3 type uses on the property that's in your packet. So those heavier B3 type of uses would be prohibited from happening on this particular parcel of property.
Good.
And Mayor, if I could, they own the properties immediately to the rears of this particular property as well, correct? To the north side?
Yes, he does. He owns the properties all the way through the whole block. And they are zone B3.
And he is in the process of building buildings there now?
Yes, he is.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Porter. This is a public hearing. Any comments from the audience? Any comments from the audience? If not, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Hodge?
No.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item C is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting preliminary plat and site plan approval for Pod H, Bay Winds of Hatteras, 107 townhome units on approximately 9.98 acres of land in the Bay Winds Plan Unit Development, located north of 328th Street, south of 312th Street, west of 142nd Avenue, and east of 147th Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Is there a motion on this item?
I'll move it.
I have a motion by Councilman Porter. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Councilman Hodge. Any initial comments or questions from council?
One question, Vice
Mr.
Mayor.
Porter.
Is this the last pod? This is the last pod?
Yes, it is.
Okay, promise. These pods just keep popping out of here.
I promise this is the last
Okay,
one.
thank you. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Porter. Any further from council? It's a public hearing. Are there any comments or questions from the public? Close the public hearing. Are there any final questions or comments from council? All right. Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item D.
Item D is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting the request of Coop LLC for a major site plan amendment to a previously approved retail center by replacing a two-story office building totaling 19,754 square feet with a four-story 121-room hotel totaling 43,104 square feet, located at the southwest corner of Campbell Drive, southwest 312th Street, and Kingman Road, southwest 152nd Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Motion. Thank you. Have a motion for approval by Councilman Hodge. Do we have a second?
Second, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Second from Councilman Porter. Additional questions or comments from council? Councilwoman Bell.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, I did want to say one resident, because I realize this is quasi-judicial, one resident did speak to me about this item. He spoke against it, so I do want to put that on the record.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Councilwoman Bell, anything further?
Well, that's for now. That's
public hearing. Are there any questions or comments from the public? This is time to ask those questions. Is the applicant present? Is there a presentation on behalf of this item? No presentation on behalf of the applicant. We'll close the public hearing. Are there any final questions or comments from council?
Just one final question.
Yes, Councilman Porter and then Councilwoman Bell.
The traffic studies and the improvements that have been done previously, this is incorporated into that. It still meets all the requirements based on that original study.
Yes, Mr. Porter. They already had a site plan approval, and they had the approval for a 2-story retail, and they're exchanging it to a 4-story hotel. However, the number of the trips is reducing.
Okay, so basically, it still meets the criteria of the original traffic study.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Vice Mayor.
Councilwoman Bell.
Is the hotel consistent with what's in the surrounding areas as far as you're concerned? Because I'm taking a look at it, and there have been concerns from the community with this 4-story hotel on this particular 5-acre site.
Yes, it meets all the requirement and all the low commercial use is one of the categories.
But we are requesting a modification of a site plan here tonight, though.
For the site plan, yes, because it was approved for a retail. So we are just changing the retail for the hotel.
I'm curious, though, as why we don't have a presentation on this. I would like to hear more from the applicant. What are they, I'd like a presentation.
Mr. Shiver.
Hi, Mr. Vice Mayor, Mayor Steve Shiver, 47 North Chrome Avenue. For the applicant, I will be glad to present or answer questions if there's anything you'd like to specifically know. I'd be concerned, actually more importantly, with what the complaints you've received, because we would like to make sure that we address all of the concerns of the community. I mean, a 4-story building next to a hospital, which I believe is about 6 or 7 stories across the street, it actually fits pretty well in that category or in that district region. We've had the opportunity to meet extensively with the urban planner. Your staff has been remarkable. Tonight, our request to change from what was a two-story retail building to the hotel site is really a less intensive use, because a retail building has going and coming every day and throughout the entire day from basically 9 to 5. A hotel, and this is an extended stay environment, taking advantage of the hospital, where typically in Baptist hospitals, the main campus on Kendall Drive, you have many people from around the country that fly in because mom or dad or grandma is having surgery and they need somewhere to stay. So this is an ancillary use that's supportive and complementary to the hospital. Ms. Bell, if you could share now or later the complaints and the specific complaints that you've received, I'd like to be able to address that. And if there's anyone in the audience that has those concerns, we'd be happy to talk to them after as well. But again, your staff has been very good with us, and we enjoy working with them.
Thank you.
What is the name of the hotel?
It's an extended stay hotel. And in fact, the representative of the hotel, Mr. Forrest Jones, would you come up and say a little bit about the hotel itself?
I'm Forrest Jones, and along with my partner, we'll be owning the hotel here. And if you would like for me to tell you a little bit about the history of this particular concept, it started with a guy named Jack DeBoer in Wichita, Kansas. And he invented the extended stay concept with the residence inns, which he sold to Marriott for a lot of money. And then he did Summerfield Suites, and then he did Candlewood Suites. So this is his third brand. And we've been at it for 2 years, and we now have 559 franchises sold across the country. It's kind of revolutionized a lot of things. We have a beautiful building. They're all efficiency apartments, hotel rooms with kitchens. And we took the fancy lobby out and the swimming pool out. And we just have a beautiful, simple building, and by doing this, we reduced the cost of staying there by about 50%. So there was a niche in the market that we've hit, and our market is people that will be at the hospital and also people that come in to install systems for the hospital that are working on a per diem and paying their own expenses, and that's our market. And it's kind of it's a revolutionary thing that's really done well across the country. 2 years, 559 franchises.
And you don't just have the hospital, you have Florida Power Light as well. You have many others that will use the extended stays.
We're very, very confident with the market, Councilman Bell, that it's going to be good. We've been a good member of the community, too.
Yeah, I wanted to hear your presentation. I thought that the audience would profit from it as well as council. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Anything further, Councilwoman Bell? Is that
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, Ms. Bell, if you would like to share with us the specific complaints, because we really want to make sure, because this is just one parcel of 3 on the entire site.
No, if the person would like to share with you himself, that would be fine, but I won't.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Question, Mr. Schreiber?
Yes.
I might. Well, one for you and then one for the planners. I always enjoy seeing the renderings, and it's easier to conceptualize what's going on. The rendering of the elevation, if you will, of the building, is that substantially reflect the appearance of the building that will be on that location?
You bet, sir. You have a wonderful staff, and absolutely, there will be not much modification. I doubt even paint color from that original rendering, sir.
Because that's,
absolutely.
I think those are one of the concerns that I have. That,
absolutely.
In the past, things have been held, and not in this arena, but that, this is what we can do, and then what we get is something else entirely. I'd like to ask the planning department, and it's not legible in our package. Are we comfortable with the parking issues? I understand, you don't need the 121 spaces all day, every day, but are we comfortable that we're not going to be overflowing into the CVS or whatever else may be there?
Mr. Losner, we calculated everything. Everything matches with our code.
And I asked just because it wasn't clear from, it wasn't, in the reduction of the site plan in our package, it wasn't clear. Just wanted to be sure because, next to traffic, that's the next issue we hear about is the size of the parking spaces and the number of the parking spaces, and those are, something that I try to be very sensitive to. Do you have something else?
Yeah, Mr. Roger, to the parking issue, we have actually worked with the urban development, specifically. Yeah. We've actually worked with your urban design consultant and your staff, Mrs. Kamali, and I believe there's 144 total parking spaces in that area, 261 in fact, where 202 are provided. That is correct, the overall site? Wow, that's a lot. Yes, so there's more than enough parking in that site, and your staff again has been very helpful in allowing us to work
I
through
appreciate that. I know they try to stay on top of it, and sometimes those little details. If we don't ask them specifically, I was at an event yesterday where somebody was just talking off the top of their head about how bad something was, and just with no basis in fact. And I think it's always helpful to.
Unfortunately, that's the world we live in, isn't it?
Absolutely. Any further from council?
Where's the rendering?
Jen had the board.
Jen, could I look at it for a second?
Comment. While she's coming, I'm going to comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
While she's coming, I wanted to comment. One of the things that I did notice that I did like was that in piggybacking on Mr. Losner's comments was that this is going to actually generate less traffic. If you're talking about 100%, this is 76% of the 100%. So we have quite a bit, almost a quarter reduction in the traffic. So I think that if the original traffic study, proved that we would do well, then this is certainly proving that we will do even better.
Yes, you're 100%.
Ms. Bell, and the logic and support for that, when you convert from the retail full-time use 9 to 5, where you have those trip traffic to in and out of the property versus the hotel site, it does reduce quite a bit.
And unlike many of the intensive uses that have been approved lately, this has since on the corner, it has 2 separate access points, which, depending on where you're coming from, so that we're kind of keeping things off of Campbell, or the opportunity to not have to go on to Campbell to do that. All right, anything further from council? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner? Yes. Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rosner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 7E is a final order of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting a certificate of use to allow the operation of a package store associated with the public supermarket located within the Oasis Plaza Shopping Center as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have a motion on this item?
I'll move.
All right. Moved by Councilman Porter, second by Councilwoman Garner. Is the applicant present? Please give us your name and address and proceed. I think that microphone's off.
There we go.
There you go.
Rob Lewis with the law firm of Gray Robinson at 401 East Las Olas Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale. On behalf of the applicant, Public Supermarkets Incorporated, requesting a certificate of use for the sale of distilled spirits at their new supermarket located in the Oasis Plaza Shopping Center. Briefly, by way of background, Publix is the largest employee-owned supermarket chain in the United States. They have approximately 892 store locations, approximately 700 in the state of Florida, with 142,000 employees. Each Publix supermarket has about 200 associates that are hired locally and contain approximately 35 to 40,000 different products in their store. Publix is well known for giving back to the community and has donated approximately $130 million to the United Way within the last 4 years, as well as to various charities in the cities where their stores are located. At the request of its customers, Publix started a new program to add the sale of distilled spirits to their already existing beer and wine sales. These liquor stores are intended to be an added service to existing shoppers and customers in their stores. Publix does not anticipate any significant added traffic congestion or competition with other businesses because the goal and intent of these liquor stores is to provide another ancillary service to its shoppers. Most importantly, we wanted to express that Publix intends to operate these liquor stores in the same manner that carries and continue its commitment to family values, and that is extensive training to prevent alcohol sales to the underage, as well as to keep the store neat and orderly as the supermarket itself. What I'd like to do is introduce the store manager, Darren Perkins, to talk a little bit about this specific store in Homestead.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. My name's Darren Perkins. I'm going to be the new store manager at the new Oasis Publix. I'm going to be directly overseeing the operations of the liquor store, which will be, it will operate as a part of our store, but it will be in an adjacent building with its own entrance. It will be staffed by an actual manager who will manage that store along with 2 to 3 other associates.
Thank you.
We're going to be open on the 24th. We plan on opening the liquor store at the same time. It looks like it might be running a little behind. Hours of operation, we'd like to try and do it 9 to 11. That's 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. As you know, our stores are open from 7 a.m. to 11.
Okay, very good. Any questions or comments from council? Any additional questions or comments from council? Any public comment? Public question? Okay. Any further from the applicant?
Nothing further. We'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Well, I'll close the public hearing then and ask if there are any final questions or comments from council. I just want to add, I've seen this concept in practice, and I was impressed with it, and it seems to work well with some of your, I won't say competitors, but others in your industry here across the street. Seems to work well, and is very complimentary, and certainly provides what many of your customers wish to have, and that's part of a growing and responsive community. And Welcome it. Thank you then, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bell?
No.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item F.
Item F is a final order of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting a certificate of use to allow the operation of a restaurant with on-premises sale and consumption of beer and wine located at 1801 Northeast 8th Street, as legally described in Exhibit A, and providing for an effective date.
Do we have a motion on item F?
I'll move it, Vice Mayor.
Moved by Councilman Porter.
Second with
Second by Councilwoman Garner. Initial comment. Yes.
Did we give a certificate of use to the banquet facility that's already in the same shopping center?
Yes, we did.
Some time ago, yes.
I was going to ask a question. This is a brand new restaurant, so there's no history of anything at all.
No, but I think there's a police report attached. There's a summary of calls from the police report attached.
I didn't see a police report. No, I don't have it unless...
And with the new location, there may not have been no data.
I'm sorry, we do have it in our record. Maybe it's not attached.
Okay.
I'll make sure you get a copy of it.
But at this particular point, obviously, the calls can't be alcohol-related because there's
No.
no history.
That's right. No, we haven't had any problem with that location.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Porter. Mr. Hodge, anything? All right, any questions or comments from the public? Is there anyone here on behalf of the applicant? Okay. Well, we'll close the public hearing then. Have any final questions or comments from council? All right, Madam Clerk?
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
No.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right. This item 8A has been deferred?
Yes, it has.
All right. In its entirety?
Yes, it'll be on the next agenda.
Okay. All right. Well, public comments. All the items on the legislative agenda are...
No, just the first one.
Just the first one? Oh, okay. 8A1. Yes, I said 8A, and that was one. Okay. All right. 8A2.
An ordinance in the City of Homestead, Florida, amending City Code by amending Chapter 15 Housing Standards, Article 8, Responsibilities of Owners and Occupants by establishing Section 15-255, removal of panel shutters and window coverings to require removal of such shutters, solid window coverings and panels when a hurricane threat is passed, providing for severability and an effective date. This is a first reading.
So moved, Vice Mayor.
Second. We have a motion for approval by Councilwoman Garner, second by Councilman Hodge. Initial questions or comments from council?
Comments?
Yes. Ms. Garner?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. This came through the Code Committee. It was actually a health safety issue that came about because of a couple very unfortunate incidents where people renters lived in houses and they were boarded up, and unfortunately there was a fire and they didn't make it out. So the purpose of this is really for anyone who has boarding on the outside of the building. If you live in a building that you can open from the inside, this does not pertain to you. This is for shutters that can't be opened from the inside. You have to have at least 2 panels so that people can get out.
Very good. All right. Any comment from the public? Any final comment or question from council? Do we need a roll call?
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 8A3.
An ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending City Code by amending Chapter 19 Nuisances, Article 1 in general by amending Code Section 19-1, definitions of nuisance to prohibit conditions that encourage the breeding of mosquitoes, providing for severability and an effective date.
I'll move it.
Second. Motion by Councilwoman Bell, second by Councilman Hodge. Any additional comment from other council?
Vice Mayor?
Yes, Councilwoman Garner.
This item also came through the committee. It really defines anything that has standing water that may breed mosquitoes or other insects that spread infectious diseases, defines them as a nuisance, so we really want to combat that.
Yes. And all of these, the previous and this and the next couple, are really just some of the cleanup items, so to speak, that...
They're either health, safety, or aesthetic.
Good, yeah. Very good progress. Thank you. Any comments from the public? All right. Roll call.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Any item 4?
Ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending City Code by amending Chapter 19 nuisances, Article 1 in general by establishing Section 1911, removal of remaining foundations of demolished or destroyed structure, and amending Chapter 6 buildings and building regulations, Article 5 demolition of buildings, Section 227 compliance with safety measures, and Section 228 non-compliance with safety measures deemed nuisance, abatement of nuisance, expense of abatement constitutes lien to require property owners to remove all foundations of a destroyed and demolished structure, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Motion. Motion by Councilman Hodge.
Question.
Second by Councilwoman Garner. Question to Councilwoman Bell.
Thank you. My question is, what if you had a patio, a screened-in patio, and you lost the aluminum portion of the patio and you haven't put that back, but just the slab remains intact? Would that slab qualify under this to have to be removed?
No.
If it was a perfectly good intact slab?
No, it's only for buildings that are demolished.
Are you referring to specific, because it said structures, it did say, that's why I was trying to get some clarification when I was reading it. It said, removal of remaining foundations of demolished or destroyed structure. So a destroyed structure could technically be classified as a screen enclosure?
Not the screen, it would have to be the whole, like the building.
Okay.
Yes, it's for bigger issues.
Well,
It doesn't pertain to a sidewalk or a driveway that would go up to city's property. It would actually be something that was on the property, like one really big example of an eyesore is right on US 1 next to Sacred Heart. What used to be a trailer park before Hurricane Andrew, slabs everywhere. That's what we're trying to avoid. This isn't for a small porch if your porch blows away, it's not for that slab.
Okay. I was hoping it wasn't, but as I read it, it said destroyed structure. It didn't say a home or a building. It just said a structure. So I was wanting to make sure that we weren't making everybody who had slabs out there that had screen enclosures on them, that suddenly they would be required to pull up, or destroy those slabs. So I wanted a clarification on that.
No, they'll be fine because their property won't be vacant. It's not going to just be an empty piece of grass with one little porch slab. If their porch blows away, they're going to
I think I understood the intent. I just wanted to make sure. I know exactly what you're referring to.
Okay. Hello, Councilwoman Bell.
Thank you. That's it.
Okay. Anything further? Anything from the public? All right, none appearing.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And item 8A5.
An ordinance in the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code by amending Chapter 23.5 Solid Waste, Article 1 in general by establishing Section 23.5-3 placement of containers to require dumpsters to be fully enclosed, providing severability and effective date.
I'll move it.
Second. I have a motion for approval by Councilwoman Bell, second by Councilman Hodge.
Mr. Vice Mayor.
Mr. Porter.
I was looking around today, and some of the areas in the downtown where you have these alleyways to the rear, there's really not a lot of location where anything can be done there with an enclosed dumpster. It's either going to limit the ability for the truck to access it because of either overhead power lines or lack of availability for a structure to be built, because they just don't have locations to build them. The concern would be we should be able to identify those locations rather than make the property owner go through a variance process. And specifically, that is an area where I can name 10 or 15 businesses or 20 businesses or 30 businesses that may not be able to ever meet this requirement. And rather than us knowingly do that, I would rather see us, from the city side of the table first, try to identify those areas where we know that it just, number one, our trucks cannot get to it if you built a structure, or there's just absolutely there's no property, because you're going to have a very long line of people immediately coming in with the same problem, and they're generally going to be in the historic district, the old part of downtown, where you have these alleyway constrictions and the alleyway problems. I'm not saying that I agree with the concept of this. I totally agree with that, and I think we should do something, but rather than us knowingly apply that variance responsibility to people that we know already are going to have that problem, is there some mechanism that we could put in place first to identify those that we know are going to need a variance, or grandfather them in, or maybe undertake some sort of a process where we can provide. And I think, Julio, we talked about this a few years ago about doing a community compactor of some sort, where the area we could locate a spot where a compactor of some sort you have 8 or 10 businesses maybe be able to utilize that compactor that would be able to set up for the trucks to access, set up in a more clean environment than we would have where we have the open dumpster problem and the food products that get thrown in the dumpsters, and then there's a series of problems that follow that. I agree we need to do this, but I think that it would be nicer for us to try to do something preliminary to go and identify those that we know can't be met, and specifically in the downtown is my first problem with driving in that alleyway today and in the past.
Councilman Hodge and Mayor Warren.
Yes, Vice Mayor, and Mayor, I also agree with Mr. Porter. There is, he's exactly correct. I'm pretty sure there's some format where we could maybe come up with some form of measurement of access and utilize that as some sort of fact of a rule of thumb to be able to use that as a number, because there is a very narrow alley in the downtown area that we would be jeopardizing, and I think that being the pro-downtown individual that I've become, I think that would hinder its growth, and we don't want to do that, but so we do need to figure out a way of providing that same ability in the other parts of the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Hodge. Mayor Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. And I certainly support Mr. Porter's request. And I was thinking, Richard, is the way we could put some language in the ordinance to allow administratively be able to have a waiver statement in the ordinance, so as we identify those properties where they can't, then without it coming back to the council, the manager, staff could waive the requirement and avoid those conflicts of support.
Well, thank you, Mayor. And what is basically the cost of an application for a variance? It's a planning and zoning series. It's meetings with planning and zoning, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you've got the cost of the planning and zoning meetings, then you've got the two meetings in front of council. So it's a very burdensome process that we're putting people through that we automatically already know aren't going to be able to meet those requirements. So
I think for second reading, what we can do is we can have a two-step process so they don't all need to come to council. I think that basically there should be a certain level of administrative variance where they can apply to the city staff for a variance. If they're unhappy with the decision of the city staff, then they can come bring to the council. So we can draft something like that before second reading.
And maybe, Mr. Weiss, if we go forward with this, all new construction maybe should have an enclosed, totally enclosed dumpster, but you have to be able to separate out new construction from historical footprints, so to speak. So I certainly support it, and I hope we can carve in some language that will help us.
Yeah, a question I also had, Richard, it talks about fully enclosed, and now I know that some commercial establishments have dumpsters sitting inside a three-walled cradle, if you will, which does provide some screening. Is fully enclosed going to put an additional manpower and time burden? I mean, it would seem that somebody's going to have to get out of the truck and open the gate behind which the dumpster sits, and I don't know, we don't have the overhead cranes to pick it up. It's a back up to it and slide it through the slots and pick it up and dump it.
The old ordinance required it to be screened on three sides, and this basically required a full enclosure.
But, have we talked to Solid Waste about the practical application of this? I mean, conceptually, there are those locations that have no screening, and the dumpsters don't necessarily get put down in the same place every time, and that's an issue too. But, are we swinging the pendulum too far?
I can answer that. Basically, what we've seen out there with the three-wall enclosures is there's a lot of unwanted, trespassing into the dumpsters, and it has become a safety issue in the past. What we're moving towards now is actually having doors on the enclosures, and we always drive with two trucks. Basically, a pickup truck will follow the garbage truck. I will open up the gates ahead of the truck as the truck is coming, so it doesn't slow us down any, because we're basically following, two individuals are following each other as they're doing the work. And we have to do that anyways, because after the truck brings down the dumpster, the lids have to be closed, etc. So it doesn't add to our actual manpower, but at the same time, it does provide a lot more safety for just anybody out there that might want to venture into one of these enclosures for whatever reason.
Well, and this ordinance provides, I think, a 6-month time frame that if you exist to come into compliance, and obviously I think it would contemplate that if it's new construction, you're going to have to comply immediately. And some of us may recall several years ago when the county was considering a mandate that every commercial establishment had to put a bike rack out front. And people here, our local Chamber of Commerce, went out and did the cost analysis of what it was going to be to pour the slab, to code, and install the rack. And I don't remember the number, but it was some ridiculous number, like $10,000 per business to install that bicycle rack. Have we done any of that kind of for the retrofit? And again, at some point it's going to happen. But if it's an exorbitant amount for some smaller businesses, is the 6-month time frame sufficient, or we need to do some of that analysis and maybe even have information ready as to systems that may be available now that would allow these businesses to comply at a not too outrageous cost?
We'll take a look at that.
Thank you, Julio. Yes, Mr. Hunt.
One more quick question. Will we have measurements available for the commercials to use? I just imagine in my mind, gentlemen going in, getting the dumpster and pouring out, need to have the sufficient room on the sides and above, because I see at some point they'll be coming to the city, say, well, I built it, you broke it, repair it.
We do have minimum standards and dimensions for the enclosures that are available at the building and zoning. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julio. All right, anything further from council?
So, I'm sorry, may I ask one question? We're going to move this first reading, and it'll be modified at the second reading. Okay, thank you.
Do you have public comment before?
No, Mr. Shiver.
Yes, thank you. Steve Shiver, 47 North Columbia Historic District, Main Street President. The idea is wonderful, and I think in commercial areas where you have the space to do it, I think you're really cleaning up. Two things I'd like to point out. The alleyway that Mr. Porter spoke of and Mr. Hodge agreed to, that at the end of the day, there is no room. If you look at the area behind my business, I mean, it's difficult enough with the restaurants that are there in trying to keep everything in the dumpster. So the enclosure, there's just physically, so no variance process, it's not going to work there. So if you will, take a strong look at an administrative variance, not to, how many numbers or how many sides are shielded, but whether or not the structure exists itself. And then number two is to the comment from staff about the minimum standards of the enclosures. Having a truck go ahead and open the gates, and half the time they don't close them back. And I have a restaurant, as you know, it's closed at this point, but it'll be reopened soon, that has 3 walls around the dumpster. I've replaced the gates 4 times, and that's because they never get closed back. So we could do everything we want to, but if the process isn't consistently adhered to, all the rules in the world aren't going to make a difference. So consider that before the second reading. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schauer. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Bell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garner?
Yes.
Councilman Hodge?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Losner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Any public comments?
Good evening. Ed Powell, 2274 Southeast 27th Drive in Keysgate. Just wanted to say a lot of things going on in Homestead. Last week and the week before the rodeo, we worked for the Chamber of Commerce selling beer, and we made the most we ever made there. And if you were there at the rodeo, the place was packed. So that went on. We had the pleasure of the Rotary dinner last Friday night, and that was packed as well. Not to be outdone, this coming weekend, February the 10th, Chamber of Commerce is hosting their 14th annual chili cook-off at the Prime Outlets. The paper has done a good job of promoting that. I put signs all over town. I have more if you'd like to have them. Put them up here at City Hall. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're also going to be selling beer at that venue as well. And during the afternoon of that Saturday, Art South has their usual monthly open house, and then later that evening you can switch over to the Villages of Homestead Audubon Clubhouse for the concert that Councilwoman Waldman had mentioned that's being put on at the Villages of Homestead. I know a lot of people live there. I've been out soliciting as well, and so there's a lot going on in Homestead. It's pretty exciting. And something that may not have made the news, I thought was interesting. If you've driven by Kingman and Campbell, you'll notice lights flashing, stoplights, street lights. They're not actually working yet, but they're working. They are working now? Okay, so and then if you drive by the Keysgate Country Club, you'll notice that the area that used to be the amphitheater is almost completed to be a passive park. So the developer has come through on his commitment to put a park in there, and they've been putting sod down and everything else, so that should be completed soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Did y'all coordinate your shirt colors tonight?
Yeah. John Burgess, 655 Southeast 30th Drive. And the lights are working. Thank you to everybody for doing that for us on the east side. A couple of quick things. I think maybe somebody from the city's police department or traffic division or whoever may want to go back over to the Keysgate Charter School and give them a refresher class, because they seem to have forgotten everything that we taught them several months ago, which way they can turn and which way they're not supposed to turn in the mornings. They seem to be turning from every lane there is again, and this morning I sat there for 9 minutes to let cars go through from the stadium across, and then the cars get stopped in the middle of the road. So I think maybe a little refresher class for them over there might be good. And when I asked somebody, they said, well, this is the way the principal wants it. So I think maybe they've reverted back. So maybe somebody from the city could give them a call and a quick refresher. And then the other thing I have a question with, I guess, is code enforcement, is the signage that's going on around the city with people putting sales signs up off premises. I mean, if you drive from the racetrack's gas station on Campbell East and down Kingman Drive, there's one particular company, I think I counted 4 or 5 signs that they had up. The red and yellow and something Del Sol, I can't remember. And I've yet to see where these people are building. And then if you drive down Farmway, they've got 2 more down there. So I don't understand what the real rule is, because I thought they had to be on premise to put the signs up.
So maybe we should get code enforcement to, I know we did a crackdown on that maybe 5 or 6 months ago, but maybe we can get somebody to come over and clean up that side of town again. I know with the traffic and the other sales center over there, they're all trying to target people that are coming over there. So if we could just maybe get somebody to look at that from the city, certainly would appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
We'll do it, John.
At the risk of being here too many times, we control a property that's behind Homestead High School. It's owned by an octagonal group, and it's part of the mitigation. It's a DERM site. Several times we have been cited for debris and things of that nature. Well, we've cleaned it almost every week. The school has said on numerous occasions that their children do not do anything over there. They're all innocent and angels. I know that Mr. Shahada and others have been trying to, and one person, Randy Chong, is wonderful, has done a really good job in his code enforcement work, and he's trying to, we actually cleaned it up on Saturday. Randy and I walked the property, and the benches that the kids pulled over there, threw them over the fence from the school to go do whatever they do, were already back by 2 days. And of course, the principal out there I'm hearing is saying, well, my kids don't do this. Well, it says Homestead High School on the bench. So birds don't fly and drop it over their wetland area. It's got to come from somewhere. So your code enforcement staff has now understood the problem because they physically have seen it. And I would like to just say to any of you on council, anybody that's listening, that we need to do something, because I can't go out there and post guards around the site. It is a DERM site, a wetland site for mitigation in the entire area. So please, if there's anything that we could do to continue to enforce or to get some enforcement there with the school, and also one of the largest complainants, Mr. Capetta, who lives to the adjoins the property. Actually, they dump from the townhouse development right in front of his house, throw things over the fence. So, I guess we're just at our wits' end right now, and I'm pleading with you to direct your staff to continue to help us and make sure that the fencing and stuff is maintained. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shiver.
Mr. Shiver, good indication of a truancy problem.
Well, you know what? That's right. But and the benefit of that is their school has their own police department. So the school board system should put their money where their mouth, where our money where their mouth is. That's what we should do.
Those school police are inside that school patrolling as well.
Yeah, that's great. But problems that we have, Ms. Bell?
It's all over town.
It's all over town.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Mr. Manager? Your turn.
I have a couple of I got a couple of messages I'd like to put out here. One, City Hall will be closed on Monday, February 19th. We have observance of President's Day, but garbage and trash will be collected as normally scheduled. We also want the citizens to know that there's free income tax preparation. It began this past weekend. The IRS and the City of Homestead are providing this service to residents free of charge. Residents can have their federal income tax returns electronically filed, receive answers to their tax-related questions, and refunds can be direct deposited into their bank accounts within 7 days. Pretty good. The locations are the Homestead Family YMCA, and they'll be there through the 14th of April. They'll be there on Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Of course, that's at 1034 Northeast 8th Street. They also will have it at through the South Dade Weed and Seed at the PAL Gymnasium through April 11th, and that's 600 Southwest 14th Street or Redland Road. And those hours are Wednesdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And lastly, Homestead Youth Baseball League will hold its opening ceremonies on Saturday, February 17th at 10 a.m. at J.D. Red Park. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Mr. Howard?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I wanted to follow up, Vice Mayor had asked about doing a electric bill understanding flyer or booklet. I wanted to basically follow up on that. And what I would like to see is we instruct. Remember when we did the taxes, how we showed how it was divided up. the dollar bill. I think that was an excellent illustration, just piggyback on that with our utility services. Also add some safety issues in there in reference to our code. I would say that on the solid waste side as well as our electric side, and then have some information in there for energy savings. And once we develop the brochure, then I would like to schedule some charrettes that we can do throughout the city. Also, I wanted to advise the mayor that pretty soon I'll be inviting some individuals to assist with an economic development committee. I know our Buxton Community ID program is out there and soon to be returned in a couple of months. So I would like to put a committee together as that information comes back to go through that and start working on marketing and advertising to the individuals to again help start getting the development of downtown moving along. Also had the opportunity to play in the Defiant golf tournament today. Although it was not a hot day, it was very windy, and my game has gotten better because I can blame it on the wind. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Hodge. Earlier tonight, we recognized some of the volunteers with the graffiti program, and it kind of goes along with what some of my thoughts were for tonight, that the spirit of volunteerism and the extent of volunteerism in this community is really evident this time of year, as Mr. Powell pointed out, with the rodeo, with the Rotary auction, and even a contingent of young ladies and women from Homestead went to the Miss America pageant and spent a week out in Las Vegas assisting the Miss Florida contestant, who's from the area, not Homestead, but not too far away, just in so many worthwhile causes. And not only do we need to recognize them, but thank the so many people in our community and the newcomers that we're beginning to see from throughout the community at all of these traditional events that makes us separate, unique, and distinct. And I think that that's what's going to continue to make this a very desirable community, those small town type things. I mean, we've got so many more things coming, as Ed pointed out, and it's just really a credit to our community that so many of us take part in so many of those things. I know the Rotary auction was just a phenomenal success, and Friday night at the rodeo was just amazing. The parade gets longer and longer, and it's gratifying to me that we can still enjoy these things 50-some years after some of them were first initiated. I had the opportunity last week to attend with Councilwoman Bell and Kurt Ivey and Mike Shahada a local swearing-in of the South Florida congressional delegation for the Diaz-Balart brothers, for the new member of Congress Ron Klein, and Ileana Ros-Layton. And I will tell you that among the 31 communities in Dade County, and I don't know how many are in Broward, that congressional delegation represents Dade and Broward and other counties, that Homestead was at the forefront, and we were all introduced of maybe only a half a dozen communities from the 50 or 60 from South Florida that are included in those delegations, and we were strongly represented there and recognized. And it's really neat to go there. They had the street closed out between the two federal buildings. A beautiful, nice, cold morning, clear, crisp day in Miami. Picture perfect day, and some good words from both sides of the aisle. And I think it was important that the members of our delegation knew that the leadership of Homestead was there to support them, and I know they're going to be there to support us in all of our efforts. Kurt, I'm assuming that the demolition went forward this morning, the first phase of demolition?
I'm not sure if they demoed later this afternoon. I think they waited.
Well, at some point today, I just want to announce that the bombing has commenced. The demolition on the future City Hall site has begun officially today with the small satellite farm that was there, and we'll have a very noteworthy and newsworthy event in a couple of months when we all get to take a swing at the former Borges Market. That's exciting to be a part of that. Finally occurred, I think, 3 weeks ago. I inquired as to the status of the report of the interim internal auditor, and he was to be here the next day. Do we have an anticipated finalization or wrap-up or delivery of that report?
He hasn't given me a final date yet. I don't think, Sheila, I don't know if he's talked to you on that.
Yeah, he's still collecting on more information, but I think he's close to finalizing his report.
Just curious, I know we mentioned that 3 weeks ago.
He has some for as early as this morning.
Okay,
some additional.
very good. Okay, so he's still pursuing it. All right, appreciate that. That's all I have. Council reporter?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. On the heels of the comments that you and I both made referencing the lights on 328th Street and that project that is a county project on a city street, money's been captured, and I don't think to this day there's been any real plans that shows that our lighting standard is part of those plans, and I think that we need to get on this rather quickly. It would be much more difficult to try to retrofit than it would be to have it incorporated into the actual original construction. So, I mean, we've been talking about this back and forth for a pretty good while, so can we please have some definite that it's going to be incorporated into that construction? Lucy Street, US 1, all the way to 344.
We have assurance from Dade County Public Works that it will be added on there.
Okay.
So we're working now the details as to whether we do the design or they do the design. That's basically but it will be done at the same time, and it's all so that it all coordinates with the work that's being out there right now.
Okay, perfect, because I know that's been important to the Vice Mayor and obviously to all of us up here. It's a major east-west connector, and we've got to have that to finish out the appropriate look. So just a couple of points, which I said I would continue to bring up information that's going on at Homestead Miami Speedway. On February the 10th and the 11th, they are having a motorcycle championship series out there. I don't know, sometimes they don't get this information out. I know it's out there, but a lot of people always miss the information. But that's February 10th and 11th. I think that's this weekend. On Wednesdays of February 14th and 16th, they're having the Andretti Gordon Racing School. They've been out there for a while. Now, these events are going to be open. I know these driving school you can probably go in and just watch. The motorcycle championship, there will be a charge for that. I'm not sure what it is. The other thing is that on the 20th of February through the 23rd of February, they do the Indy Racing League, and now this year they're going to be running that series at night. So it will be running on the 20th through the 23rd at night. So you might hear the noise from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Obviously, you can go out and sit and watch and participate in that. But for anyone that hears the noise, it's their training for the upcoming racing event on March the 24th, I believe. Mr. Vice Mayor, one more thing. I wanted to publicly thank some of the people that helped us put together the the Miami-Dade League of Cities event, where we were able to, and we've been wanting to do this for many, many years, but we've never had the facility, and we were able to invite all the other municipalities in Miami-Dade County to come down and see the city of Homestead, and we were able to support them in the Champions Club at the Speedway, and we had a very large turnout. The last numbers that I heard, it was around 150. And we had really rave reviews. We had some sponsors. Our sponsors were Aresco Technologies, Mike Marcus and Bob Houston, and T.R. Jones, Bruce Fitzpatrick, and Tom Jones and Margaret Jones. They co-sponsored, and Jimmy Accurcio from Capri did the catering and sponsored an open bar for all the people that came down, and obviously Curtis Gray and his staff at the Speedway. But I wanted to publicly thank the mayor and the council members, because I believe this will go a long way for us to be able to highlight our city and our community. And I know that the people that had an opportunity that I got a chance to talk to on the way out were very well impressed with the overall growth of the city and the rebounds from Andrew and some of the other financial situations that we found ourselves under. And I just wanted to say to the council members, I really appreciate all of your support for this, and Mayor, your support. And hopefully we can become a normal league meeting in the circuit, so to speak, because there is a circuit that they run, and I know we try to get to all of them, but some of them you end up in Miami Beach or North Miami at 6 o'clock, and that's like really hard to get to, because you got to do all the traffic. You got to leave Homestead at 2. So, but I really think we scored a home run with this. I know that it was an impressive night or afternoon and evening for the people that were able to come down. And I will say to Patty Sullivan, she did a magnificent job of orchestrating this, putting this together, and she deserves a pat on the back anytime you can, because it really worked out well, and I think we'll see a lot of positives out of it. But I appreciate everyone support. Mr. Manager, you getting some of your staff there, and the chief, you guys looked really sharp in your dress uniforms, and very impressive city effort. Thank you very much. That's all that is.
Mr. Hodge had another item.
I just wanted to briefly thank Mike Taylor. Saturday he had a graduation. He's OSHA certified, and he's been teaching students in the community to become OSHA certified so they can obtain some of the construction occupations that are available in the community. And he has some of the local builders and contractors actually hiring the gentlemen that he teach and get certified. He had a graduation Saturday, and he invited myself and out and a couple of the council members, and I just want to thank him for his appreciation that he offered me on his program, and he's doing quite well and having much success with it. So I just wanted to announce that and say thanks.
Thank you, Councilman Hodge. Councilwoman Bell.
Thank you. I'm glad Councilman Poe talked about the Miami-Dade League City event. It really was a great event, and it was really fun to spotlight the city of Homestead. And I mean, everybody turned out. As Councilman Porter said it well enough, everybody turned out. It really was a great event, and it's really fun to let other cities see our city and to see what we're doing in our city, and what a great venue to have it at the Champions Club. So I think that was a really good decision. Last week I attended the joint workshop with the school board and elected officials. It's semi-annually. They do it twice a year, and this time it was at the Biltmore and Coral Gables, so had to be there early in the morning, but it was very, very good. It was a wonderful, informative event, and after that I got to go take a look at Mr. Weiss's new offices in the Gables that are quite lovely. I also want to thank and congratulate the Rotary, and I want to compliment our chef right here, Mr. Losner, who is I just want to say congratulations. It was fantastic dinner, but it's not good for the waistline to have prime rib 2 weekends in a row, because Councilwoman Gardner's club, the Junior Women's Club, the weekend before was the Junior Women's Club Rodeo Dinner Dance, and they did a fantastic job. So I just wanted to, it's hard on the waistline, but fantastic. Both of the groups did a fantastic job, and both of them raised funds for very, very good causes, so I wanted to compliment them both. Also, the swearing-in ceremony, it was really good and very effective for us to attend and for our congressional delegation to see that the city of Homestead does care. And 2 years ago I went there by myself and stood on the steps. It was so nice to go with a group of us from the city of Homestead. It was much more fun, and it's really important for them to see that when they're up in D.C. working on our behalf, especially Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart, when he's up there, or when Congresswoman Ileana Ross-Slayton is up there and she's supporting Mario, as is Lincoln, and Kendrick Meek, and on and on, it's good for them to see us there supporting them, because then we know that they support us, and because we really do appreciate them, and we want to show them how much we do appreciate them. So I agree with Vice Mayor. It was very, very, very important for them to see us there, and it's a pleasure actually to go see them. Also, the rodeo parade and the rodeo, fantastic again, and I think the crowd was bigger this year at the rodeo, or it was my imagination, but it's getting bigger and bigger every single year, and the parade is getting longer. When by the time we get in our cars and go all the way around, we can get out and stop and see the parade for about another hour. So it is a long parade, but it's very, very good. Also, I attended the final event. It's called the Black Stallion Literacy Program. and a member of our education committee, Wendy Lewitt, is a big part of it with the Rodeo Association. And this is such a fantastic program, the Black Stallion Literacy Program. I mean, I think all of the media should have been out there to see hundreds and hundreds of children petting horses and watching the horses get shoed and just all the different things and touching the horses. And then children reading, they had stations set up and children literally were reading books to the horses. And the first book that they get is at what they call the First Touch. And they go to all the different schools. They go to West Homestead, they go to Laura Saunders and Avocado and Redondo, and they make a presentation to the children of a book. And then they get to see the horse, and the book's called Little Black, and then they get to see the horse. And then they go back to the rodeo grounds, and they get another book. And it really, really does encourage reading, Mayor. It is a wonderful program and encourages reading. And the children were so excited, and it really was quite adorable to see all these little kids with the cowboy boots on, and a lot of little girls wore, my granddaughter was out there with her pink cowboy boots and her pink cowboy hat, and it really is just a wonderful thing to see these kids. Also, Spellbound Books attended the grand opening. What a nice bookstore, and I hope everybody goes to Spellbound Books on Chrome Avenue, takes a look at that nice bookstore. And I did buy the book of Mr. Kloss, was it, who was there that night. It was very, very good, and my husband's actually almost done with the book. He usually grabs the book when I walk in the door, and I get it second. Also, the Vice Mayor and I went to the unveiling of the Power Financial time capsule, and that was interesting. Unfortunately, everything was pretty wet inside of the time capsule, but it was interesting to look at the very old news leader as well as the very old Miami Herald. So it was very, very, very interesting. Also, we attended the day previews at the Metro Zoo, and that was a nice event. And I just want to say thank you. I'll be heading downtown again tomorrow for a meeting with different school board staff concerning our EFBD. We've got some issues we have to work out, and I'll keep you posted on that. But it's been very, very busy. Not only busy in the past 3 weeks, but very busy in the area of education. It's just been requiring an immense amount of time, but hopefully we're getting a lot of good things done, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Mayor Ward. Oh, Councilwoman Garner, I'm sorry.
I got a couple things. Thank you. Mr. Brea, I know you're tired of hearing from me, but first I'm glad to see that the light at Kingman and Campbell is operational. Glad you brought that up, Mr. Powell. But I'm wondering, how long did you sit at that light? Well, I went through it several times. Just to make sure it wasn't me or it wasn't that one time. But if you're trying to get off Kingman, only 4 cars can legally make it. So if you can talk to them about that.
I already talked to them this afternoon about that, and they're going to send a crew tomorrow to take care of that. It's just a timing issue.
I figured it was, but I didn't know if they supposedly studied that before they put the light in or afterwards. But you got to be one of the first 4 cars.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
I don't want to play Frogger anymore. Mayor, one other thing. I had talked to some residents, and actually I had beat up the manager a little bit about our situation in the median on Kingman Road. I have had a lot of complaints. Unfortunately, we have some good news. The developer CIP group who owns Oasis Plaza has agreed that they are going to immediately grade and sod and landscape that area, and it's in front of their area. They should be in charge of it, not Keysgate. So I've heard a lot of comments. Just want everybody to know that will be fixed very soon. And I know it's an eyesore. The rest of the development is all coming in. You see landscaping going all the way down the street. We want that to look nice everywhere. So that is being taken care of, and I want to thank Ms. Kamali. And Mr. Porter, excellent job on the League of Cities dinner. You gave us a lot of positive exposure. A lot of people said they'd never been to Homestead and never been to the track, and they were very impressed. So I think that was excellent exposure for us. Thank you very much. And just lastly, I'd like to thank everyone who helped out, especially the Police Explorers and all the members of Homestead Junior Women's Club. We had a great event at our rodeo dance. Everybody had a really good time. And thank you for all your support and help.
Thank you, Ms. Garner. Before I go to the mayor, and I guess Ms. Porter's got a comment. Kurt, I think you and I discussed it and passed it on to Julio. As long as we're talking about timing of lights, Northeast 11th Street has become the alternate to 15th while that intersection's being done. And going east and west on Northeast 11th Street at Flagler, it's about a 3 to 4 car light as well, and it's really becoming a burden with that being the the major east-west crossway with 15th Street under construction. It's horrendous. Mr. Porter, was that?
That was my comment. I was going to do the same thing, and I'd ask him to go to 15th and Flagler as well, because that's a mess anyway, but the light makes it even worse. But I agree with your comment. 11th has become the only connector right now, and we've got to look at it.
Mayor Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Can I tell Mayor Alvarez with his new powers have said we're going to get quicker responses from the county. So let's work very closely with him and his staff and do what we need to do to just further improve Homestead. Mr. Port, I want to just publicly thank you for your leadership at the Day League, because I tell you, the next morning I had several emails from some of the mayors that attended, and they were just in awe with the progress of the city of Homestead. And I think typically we have a tendency of complaining and criticizing, but from the eyes of others that come in, they think that we have done a remarkable job in developing the city. So by you arranging that and allowing them to come down, just a remarkable, successful program. And I want to thank you for your leadership with it, because some had never been here since Hurricane Andrew. And they are extremely impressive. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Manager, I know the budget preparation is months away, but with the governor's announcement, with the double homestead exemption and the caps on rentals, and I think we probably need, and Ms. Bell, with your leadership as the chair, you probably want to start looking at those numbers early. Because the timetable is it will be a ballot question in September, and I'm sure it'll probably be 100% agreement too, so people are going to support it. So we're going to have to bite the bullet and just realize the impact it's going to have on all cities' budget throughout the state of Florida. So we need to start looking. I just wanted to thank Rick Stout. I read the editorial in the Miami Herald about our land trust, and just some very nice comments about Homestead, again, taking the lead and setting a very, very good example. So thanks to you and Mike Shahad and the manager and the whole staff for putting this concept together. Because I truly think you will be the model that other cities will emulate at some point. So good job, good concept. Let's make sure it works. Chief, I was interested in whether you received any responses as a result of the initiative from Miami Gardens with the 12,000 signing bonus and housing allowance. And are we losing any offices as a result to Miami Gardens with this? No. Very good.
The union took note.
Because that's the talk of the county where it goes. Because other mayors were talking at the league about they're concerned about they're losing some offices to Miami Gardens. So, very good, Chief. I have a few items on the agenda. The approval of Alex Hernandez for the Mayor's Youth Council. Motion approval. Move and second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Human Relations Board, we have 3, Chantel Harris, Zareda Sagunat, and Alexander C. Green.
I'll move them, Mayor.
Moved by Ms. Bell, second by Mr. Hodge. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good. Thank you all so very much. I have nothing else. Have a good evening.